Let me take you through all that we know on Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. We know that she's been awarded a death sentence for alleged crimes against humanity. I'll take you through that story here. In fact, Bangladesh's ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death in absentia for crimes against humanity during last year's mass uprising in Bangladesh under her leadership. It was a 46-day unrest that left nearly 1,400 people dead. The ruling also convicts her former Home Minister, Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal, and ex-police chief Chowdhury Abdullah Al-Mamun for allegedly, along with her, carrying out a coordinated crackdown on student protesters. Now, the 453-page verdict was read out for over an hour by the International Crimes Tribunal. The courtroom erupted in cheers. Families of victims outside fell to their knees in prayer, rejoicing the verdict that gave Sheikh Hasina a death sentence. Hasina and her Interior Minister, Kamal, are currently fugitives. Hasina, of course, in India. Bangladesh's interim government has submitted an official extradition request to India and has even approached the UN for assistance. So what really happens now? If I could give you a little sense on what this really means, what next for Sheikh Hasina? Well, India has said that it has taken note of the verdict and will continue engaging with all sides to support stability in Bangladesh. But New Delhi has wide legal room now to decline this request as well. Under Article 6 of the 2013 India-Bangladesh Extradition Treaty, the extradition may be refused if the case is considered politically motivated, a charge that Sheikh Hasina has been repeatedly making, saying that this sentence itself and the allegations against me are politically motivated. So India very well, as per its extradition treaty with Bangladesh, can refuse on that ground that this is politically motivated against her, and there could be more human rights violations against her, an unfair trial if she's sent back to Bangladesh. So therefore, India has and is well within the right to refuse it. But nonetheless, India has responded, saying they're looking very keenly into the case and will ensure that a decision will be taken so Bangladesh is stable. Her conviction draws heavily from a UN OHCHR report that blamed state forces for widespread killings during the uprising. Sheikh Hasina's son, Sajib Wazeb, has also called this ruling as premeditated, like Sheikh Hasina herself. In her statement, she says this verdict itself reflects the brazen and murderous intent of extremist figures in an unelected government. She calls this politically motivated. She denies ordering any killings, adding, despite its name, the International International Tribunal there is nothing international about it. It's basically impartial. For now, Sheikh Hasina's fate rests almost entirely on India, on New Delhi's next move, whether India accepts Dhaka's extradition request or rejects it, citing political motivations and human rights concerns around a former government head. We got to wait and watch. Ambassador Prabhu Dayal joining us, former Indian diplomat. We also have Salahuddin Shoaib, editor of Blitz, who joins us live from Bangladesh. I'll start with Ambassador Prabhu. Sir, your take on this. Will India extradite Sheikh Hasina? It's a clear-cut question. If you could give us a little on the tenets of the treaty that was signed between India and Bangladesh in 2013, on what grounds can India refuse?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. Now, let me begin by saying that there is significant controversy whether former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina received a fair trial. She and her supporters claim that the trial was a farce, rigged, and politically motivated. She has also said that she was not given a fair chance to defend herself in court and would only face the accusers in a proper tribunal, not a kangaroo court. Now, Sheikh Hasina's Awami League party, which was banned from the upcoming elections, has decided that it will not accept this verdict by the kangaroo court. Thus, the fairness of the trial is highly contested. Therefore, India now faces a significant diplomatic challenge and is expected to handle the situation by prioritizing its strategic interests rather than immediately complying with Bangladesh's extradition request. And India has said that as a close neighbor, it remained committed to the best interests of the people of Bangladesh and would continue to engage constructively with all stakeholders towards that end. Let me mention that the External Affairs Ministry of India has said that officials will examine the legal grounds. Now, India could refuse to extradite the former Bangladeshi Prime Minister due to legal complexities, political considerations, and human rights concerns. Now, the 2013 India Bangladesh Extradition Treaty allows for the rejection of extradition requests if the charges are deemed politically motivated or not in the interest of the judicial process. So, India can argue that the case falls under these exceptions, despite the charges of murder and genocide. India may prefer to actually delay a decision until the political situation in Bangladesh stabilizes, thus buying time to navigate the complex diplomatic landscape.
Salahuddin Shoaib Chowdhury, thanks very much for joining us here on News9. Give us a little sense on, from where you are in Bangladesh right now. We're only looking at celebrations. There's such huge celebratory visuals that we're playing out for our viewers as well. If you could flash that on our screens. So the Aam Janta, is, if I could call them, are celebrating this verdict. They welcome it and they demand that Sheikh Hasina brought back and face trial. Tell us a little more on Sheikh Hasina's statement that you've heard. In fact, before I get to you on that, let's play out for our viewers what Sheikh Hasina has said in an audio message about the verdict that's awarded her death sentence.
আমরা কর্মসূচি দিয়েছি। আমি 13 তারিখের কর্মসূচিতে জনগণ স্বতঃস্ফূর্তভাবে সাড়া দিয়েছেন। আমরা তো ঢাকায় দিয়েছিলাম, কিন্তু সেটা সারা বাংলাদেশ সেটা পালন করে আমাদেরকে অন্তত একটু বলবো যে একটা আস্থা বিশ্বাসের ঠিকানায় পৌঁছে দিয়েছে। আজকে 16, কালকে 17 তারিখ আমাদের যে কর্মসূচি, আমি আশা করি এই কর্মসূচিও বাংলাদেশের মানুষ এটা পালন করে এই সুদখোর খুনি জঙ্গি ইনুস আর তার সাথে এই যারা দোষর তাদেরকে দেখিয়ে দেবে যে বাংলাদেশ জানে কিভাবে তাদের দাবি আদায় করতে হয়, কিভাবে বাংলাদেশ ঘুরে দাঁড়াতে পারে। অন্যায় অবিচার যারা করে তাদের বিচার একদিন বাংলার মাটিতে জনগণই করবে। কাজে আমি সবাইকে বলবো যে কোনো ঘাবড়ানোর কিছু নেই, বেঁচে তো আছি, বেঁচে থাকবো, দেশের মানুষের কল্যাণ আবার করব, আর এই অপরাধীদের বিচার ইনশাল্লাহ বাংলার মাটিতেই করব। আওয়ামী লীগকে রাজনীতি করতে দেবে না, আওয়ামী লীগকে নিষিদ্ধ ঘোষণা করে, আওয়ামী লীগকে নির্বাচন করতে দেবে না, আওয়ামী লীগের নেতা কর্মীদের উপর জুলুম করে এই দলটাকে শেষ করতে চায়। কিন্তু এটা এত সোজা না। মাটি ও মানুষের থেকেই গড়ে উঠেছে এই আওয়ামী লীগ, কোনো অবৈধভাবে ক্ষমতা দখলকারীর পকেট থেকে গড়ে ওঠা না। এই জন্য আওয়ামী লীগের ভিত্তিটা অনেক শক্ত, শিকড় অনেক দূরে প্রথিত, এটা উপড়ে ফেলা তো সহজ নয়।
All right, well, there you have it, a clear message there, calling it politically motivated, and as many words she dissected it. Shoaib, go on. You heard it.
Thank you very much. I'm speaking to you from Dhaka.
Yes.
And for the whole day, we have been watching what's happening in Bangladesh. And if I have to tell you what exact happening, people did not go to street today because everyone knew, even schools are closed today because everyone knew there would be anarchy on the street, mostly by the Islamists and jihadists. And you are seeing in the video exactly what is happening. And when the verdict was being read in the so-called ICT, one group of young people, Yunus loyalists, they went with bulldozers to occupy the home, the residence of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in Dhanbandi, and turn it into a playground. And when this drama was going on with the ICT and the bulldozer at the Dhanbandi, Yunus was signing an agreement and handing over our Laldia terminals to a Danish company named APM Terminals. So this is absolutely a well orchestrated, meticulously plotted, designed conspiracy against Bangladesh, what is happening. And for your kind information, that back in 1971, on the 4th of December, Pakistani military court also handed death penalty to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. His grave was also ready, but after 12 days, Bangladesh became liberated. And for your information, currently this regime has brought 583 cases against Sheikh Hasina, out of which there are 324 murder cases. And today's only the ICT has disposed one case. There are 26 more cases with it. So I mean, all we understand the size, the numbers of the volumes of the cases, it clearly shows that this is a first trial. And most interestingly and most importantly, the so-called Defense Council for Sheikh Hasina, who was provided by the Eros regime, and this gentleman is a anti-Awami League bloc. He was smiling, saying that he is very sorry his client did not get justice, and he was laughing. So, and the chief prosecutor of this ICT is a prominent leader of Jamaat Islami. Most of the leaders are from members of this ICT are either from Jamaat or BNP. So, it's altogether it's a drama orchestrated in the name of justice. But what is, as a journalist, what now I understand that most of the Western countries, European nations also, they don't support death penalty. So when Yunus has given this death penalty handed to Sheikh Hasina, I'm sure there will be lots of reactions from the Western nations, and particularly at a moment when Yunus uh, main guardian, the United States, the US deep state, Tulsi Gabbard, on the 25th of October has clearly declared that America is retreating from its regime change plot. So I can only say that Yunus has stepped into a bigger crisis today with this verdict and with all other things that I have explained to you.
Okay. A final word, Ambassador Prabhu Dayal. They call the court itself as a kangaroo court, the International Court Tribunal in Bangladesh, not taking it seriously at all as to what verdict was given. Is that something that will, not hold water in the long run? Is this verdict really here to hold? Give us a little sense on that. Could we really trivialize this court as a kangaroo court verdict?
Yes, of course, many sections in Bangladesh are categorizing this court as a kangaroo court. There is no doubt that this judgment and this entire trial is politically motivated. And the 2013 India Bangladesh Extradition Treaty allows for the rejection of extradition requests if the charges are deemed politically motivated. And these charges against Sheikh Hasina are, without any doubt, they are politically motivated. So there is no doubt that India should refuse to extradite. Of course, India's refusal would likely strain the bilateral ties with Bangladesh's current interim government. But I don't think it would cause a complete breakdown of relations in the long term. And the final decision, of course, will depend more on diplomatic negotiations and geopolitical considerations rather than solely on whatever the Bangladesh's interim government is asking. As I said, it was a kangaroo court. The Awami League and several other sections in Bangladesh have rejected this verdict. Sheikh Hasina has also outright rejected it. And there is considerable
Hasina, of
thinking.
course, will reject it. But Shoaib, how credible is the International Court Tribunal's verdict? How credible is it viewed by the Bangladeshi public?
You see, this internet ICT was formulated in 1973 to try the collaborators of Pakistan. And now Yunus has, through a decree, has empowered it to try Sheikh Hasina and others. So itself, this decree is illegal, and Yunus has no legal validity. Whatever his regime, he is claiming himself to be a chief advisor, it lacks any legal ground. So Yunus is illegal. This ICT is illegal, and also I'd like to humbly draw your attention and the attention of His Excellency Ambassador Dayal to something, that immediately after the verdict, some pro-Yunus leaders, they held a press conference and threatened of sheltering terrorists from India inside Bangladesh and terrorizing India if India does not extradite or return, in their word, Sheikh Hasina to Bangladesh. So you can understand they have given a verdict which is questionable, and now Yunus has assigned his own muscle power to threaten India clearly with the threat of terrorist attack. I have the video of that particular video. I mean, I have, and that's why I'm saying it on record. So Yunus is threatening India of terrorist attack, and I as a counterterrorism researcher, I know there is already activities of Pakistani ISI in Bangladesh and Pakistani terrorist entities such as Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed in this country. So with this questionable verdict, they are asking for extradition. On the other hand, he has mobilized his muscle man to threaten India of terrorist attack if India does not return Sheikh Hasina. I mean, it's a kind of the Al-Qaeda pattern.
No, absolutely, and but India is no small fish. India has shown Pakistan and put them in their place. Bangladesh,
India is a very strong country, and that's why I'm saying that you can understand the nature of Yunus.
True.
He is a criminal, and I've been saying he is the Osama bin Laden of today's world. Though this is threatening India to return Sheikh Hasina with a terrorist attack. I mean, India can always take legal action, due course of action against Bangladesh now for that particular threat.
We'll see what India's response would rightly be, and it's now entirely on New Delhi's decision on whether Sheikh Hasina goes back or not. Thanks very much, Ambassador Prabhu Dayal and Shoaib, for joining us on this.